Jesse Jackson's arrival in Chicago at the age of 25 was a virtual baptism by fire. Greeted by angry crowds as he marched with the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was also in Memphis when Dr. King was assassinated.
Somehow this nation has to continue to be challenged and to be transformed from what it is to what it ought to be.
4 decades later, he stood in Grant Park, tears in his eyes, as the election of Barack Obama moved a giant step closer to that transformation. Jesse Louis Jackson was raised in Greenville, South Carolina. A series of yearbook photos shows him growing up. At age 19, as a member of the so-called Greenville 8, he picketed the city's segregated public library.
I am somebody.
He was one of the most captivating orators of our time, first heading the Chicago chapter of Operation Breadbasket, then founding Operation Push in 1971. Voter registration drives turned his attention to politics and were instrumental in the election of Harold Washington, Chicago's first African-American mayor, and then his own candidacy for president.
For President of the United States, the Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson.
He campaigned in big cities and small towns, surprising experts by winning 3 million votes and 5 Democratic presidential primaries in 1984. Now a major force nationally and internationally, taking time out from campaigning to negotiate the release of a Navy pilot shot down by Syria over Lebanon.
Reverend Jackson's mission was a personal mission of mercy.
He later won the freedom of 22 Americans being held in Cuba and 3 U.S. soldiers captured while patrolling with a UN peacekeeping force in Macedonia. In the 1988 campaign, his Rainbow Push coalition had grown to 7 million voters, enough to win 11 primaries and caucuses, enough to win the support of these working people.
And I just respect Jesse for coming and doing what he's doing.
All of us have sinned and come short of the glory of God.
But he was not immune from the usual political pitfall.
However innocent and unintended, it was insensitive and wrong.
In 1984, he referred to New York City as Hymietown, infuriating the Jewish community. In 1998, a staffer who accompanied him to the White House to counsel President Bill Clinton during the Monica Lewinsky scandal turned out to be pregnant with his child. Barack Obama's election should have been a proud and triumphant moment for Jackson, as few would dispute the fact that it was Jackson who paved the way for an African American to the White House. But instead of being celebrated and embraced, he was relegated to a minor role in the campaign, especially after having to apologize for his private conversation caught on tape criticizing the president-to-be.
There are some who say that you were deliberately pushed aside from the campaign.
There may have been those who thought that. I don't think Barack did. I certainly didn't.
In 2015, Reverend Jackson was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He kept the diagnosis quiet until 2017, when he informed the public of his disease. Despite the health setback, he continued his work as an activist. Activism celebrated around the world. In July of 2021, he received France's highest order of merit. Jesse Jackson's life included campaigns for equal opportunity, a war on drugs, universal health care, and opening up the political process, all ultimately embraced by others in his eyes, as we saw back in 1988, always on the prize.
We must never surrender. America will get better and better. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.